Hey, welcome to my channel. Now we got to do some damage control because over the weekend we had the Super Bowl, but I do have to address the monkeys. Hey, it's the monkeys. I got to address the monkeys, okay, about the post that the president put out, did not apologize, said it was a mistake. But I did see the original video before it was taken down, and it was a video of voter fraud in Georgia, in Fulton County. And if you did not know, the monkey incident was the cover up or the distraction from, the hundreds of thousands of ballots that they have found. Okay. And how they literally cheated to win the election. It's a whole lot going on. We're going to unpack it. We're just in the second month of the year. And Black History Month. Okay, it was a black celebrations over the weekend, but the Super Bowl with the halftime show, and strategically yesterday, I did not have one. Literally, I had one conversation about the Super Bowl, and the individual I had the conversation with, they barely watched the game. They were playing games and all of that, and I understand. But last year, rewind, Kendrick. It's off the chain. And I saw a lot of individuals, Samuel Jackson, this is tokenism and all of this, but I'm not seeing any of these things about the bunny guy, because everybody that it seems like if you want to be down with the crowd, Super Bowl, what Super Bowl? I'm watching Bunny Guy, Bad Bunny, I'm sitting back saying, dang, wow, that's just, straight industry plant, but to make a long story short, I enjoyed the game. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold, who happens to be the first Trojan to win the Super Bowl. But he's not the first Trojan to start in a Super Bowl, because a quarterback that played for USC, I don't recall his name. You guys do the research and look it up. But he had to play safety, okay, because they didn't let blacks play quarterback. When the times when they were really racist, okay. But, good job for Sam Darnold. More than likely he's going to be, one of the greatest journeyman quarterbacks in NFL history. I believe he played for 5 teams, so a journeyman, 4 or more teams. And, it was a good game, good defensive game. It is what it is. But it's crazy how the halftime shows, typically is the highlight. The commercials, are the highlights. And I'm sitting back saying nobody's talking about the commercials. Nobody's talking about the halftime show. Because like I said, Kendrick, that was, a function last year. Remember being at a Super Bowl party and, how the halftime, everybody was anticipating the halftime show. Everybody was sitting back wanting to see the halftime show. But this time around, no. Then you go back to the SoFi and the Rams, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? With Snoop, Dre, 50 Cent, Kendrick, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Anderson .Paak on the drums. It was a phenomena. It was awesome. But this time around, okay, I'm sitting there. Okay, I said to myself, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it. And then the commercial leading up into the Super Bowl halftime show, we thought that was the halftime show, and I'm watching. Okay, it was like, oh, that was a commercial. I was like, that's my sign. Don't watch it. Do your protest, because some things, okay, you can't unsee. Okay, so I grabbed me something to eat. It was a catered event, amazing Super Bowl party. And if you was at the Super Bowl function, 2 thumbs up, for the host. Amazing. It was awesome. Okay. So as I, grabbed me something, a bite to eat, the music start playing, and I'm walking out, and I'm wondering where all the brothers go. All the brothers, I'm looking around. I don't see the men. Where they at? Okay, I hit, went to the spot. Oh, they taking they chronic breaks. Okay, they getting they sip on. Oh, that's where everybody at. Let me go on back here kicking with y'all. Okay, because I assume you guys are not watching Bad Bunny. Like, man, I don't even know who he is. Let me just bang it. And I'm sitting back like, okay. But as I'm closing the door, they start doing their thing, and somebody said, ugh, you see them 2 men grinding? I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Close the door. Then I went around and start turning the TVs down. The TVs went down, and nobody even recognized. Somebody opened the door. They was just looking like, what are we watching? Okay. And I understand industry plants. I understand, when you have a league which is literally 85% black, We're losing black coaches. We don't have any black owners. It's like, this is our, this is our product, and we run this. You guys are just the chess pieces moving around the board. You the players, and we get that. And the fact that Jay-Z is the music director or whatever, that's just basically us learning, especially with the Epstein files coming into effect, that the game needs him. Okay, that he has something on saying the game needs him because he's the plug to the blackness. Okay, but this time around, he's about to lose his black card because he's in the Epstein files as well. Beyonce in the Epstein files as well. They talking about satanic rituals. Jay-Z, scrubbed his scrubbed his Instagram. I got screenshots because I worked when they was doing the Super Bowl, worked the security, detail, and I'm behind him, and I'm like, man, he got Lucifer on the back of his jacket, and I'm sitting back like, wait a minute, it's a little deeper. Okay, than what we expected. Okay, but in a sense of the Super Bowl and all of that, boom, it is what it is. But I have to talk about these Epstein files, okay, because it's heating up. And before I talk about the Epstein files, it's because I'm gonna be real quick with it, so stay with me. I got to talk about the monkeys. Hey, it's the monkeys. I got to talk about the monkeys. So Trump did a tweet and he shut the internet down. Let's just be honest with ourselves, because, 48 laws of power, all press is good press. So he was even good press. But I saw the president respond, and he basically gave his reasoning as to what happened, that he didn't watch the whole thing. And at the end, this literally popped up. It was a freeze frame. And y'all start tripping. Okay, this popped up. Okay, you see it behind me, and I'm going through the timeline, and I'm watching individuals that I highly respect. Okay, and they, writing dissertations. And then I looked and I said, wait a minute, who's tagging me into all these videos? So they tagging me just to a post of a screenshot of this, and then I basically checked, followed back, and on the tweet, it made it seem like he shared it on his account with just their face. You couldn't press play. It was a screenshot. Okay, but there was no timestamp. Anything on social media, it's 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, 2 days. It's timestamp. I replied back. It was no timestamp. Then another one came back to me with 41 minutes, and they said, thanks for the correction. Okay, so you got individuals, just working this, the internet, and I'm sitting back. And then I found the video, but I can't find it today, and I deeply apologize. And I watched the video, and it was about voter fraud. All about voter fraud. The machines, on the first time in my lifetime have I ever in my lifetime, a presidential election stop counting and say, we'll come back and reconvene tomorrow. And I knew some hanky-panky, because the same thing, Trump was leading, destroying Biden. And then once they stopped, and then the votes and all of this stuff. So now Fulton County has been raided. They've taken boxes of ballots, and they found ballots that wasn't even counted. So that's a whole nother situation. Okay. So the video was originally about that, but then at the end, they face popped up, and then I just basically said, it looks like they was basically saying, I got y'all niggas, caught you cheating. Okay. But, since I started searching stuff, it got in my algorithm, and then I found the whole video of a brother I follow, Gotham's Ghetto Gospel. Okay. So I'm going to play the entire video. Okay. And I hope you can see it. And like I said, I do the radio show, and I'm really speaking to the radio show audience who don't see the visuals. So I'll somehow figure out how to connect it, because this is for the audio aspect of it. This is why I got, the mic and all of this going on, because I'm speaking through the audio, but I'm allowing, my social media followers and subscribers, so hit the subscription, to basically see, what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the entire video, and, you'll be the judge. Check it out. Yeah. That's Hillary, AOC. Who is that? Adam Schiff. Mom Donnie, that's a hyena. Look at Bitey eating a banana. Hakeem Jeffries. Come on, man. So that's the whole video. Yeah. That's the whole video. And he's Trump's the Lion King. Look at Whoopi. Rachel Longneck Maddow. Look at all the Democrats bowing down to President Trump. That's the whole video. Okay? Ghetto Gospel. So go ahead and follow this brother. I like his page. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the whole video as a whole. Okay. But they wanted to go viral and just wanted to seem like he just, tweeted a picture of these two individuals. And in my mind, why is Obama on the woman and Michelle is on the male gorilla body? I mean, it is what it is. So that's the whole video. Okay. They say it's racist. Okay. But, we're going to keep it 100. Now, they say that that's racist, but I need y'all to keep that same energy for this particular video, because this is a video that I'm going to show and let my radio show hear the audio of white ICE protesters calling black men niggers. Okay. Trump, tweeted something that, referred to them. You just saw the long video, and he's racist. Okay. It's due process. So if y'all want to say racism is just for fun or name calling, then what would you call these white protesters? Okay. Who's protesting ICE? Look what they say about people that look like me, black people. Listen to this. Watch this.
Oh, you some fucking hoes!
Watch this.
You some fucking hoes!
Watch this.
And you're black! What? Nigga, you're next!
Nigger, you're next. Okay. Now y'all see why we not out there protesting with y'all. Because we know how y'all really feel. So, nigger, you're next. So, blacks, it's time for us to separate from their democracy. Because they don't love us. They just using us. Just like they don't love us, they just using us. Look at the parallel with the Super Bowl. 85% black players, okay? And then you put a Spanish-speaking individual on, and we don't understand Spanish. We don't. But think about it. They're just using us. So I'm saying it's time for us to take our power collectively and to mold and shape what we want and come together and organize so we can be who we supposed to be. And that's the gold medal winner, because the white man is the silver medal. The Asiatic, the Asian, the Mongolian is the bronze. And they work together in cahoots to make sure we don't realize who we are. But the world will never in racism or calibrate and be what she's supposed to be. And I'm referring to America, is until we get into the positions that we supposed to get into so we can get the respect. Because why are they calling the black man nigger? And from a black perspective, a father would be proud. My son works for the federal government. Yeah, he's an ICE agent. Okay, congratulations. Just like you'll be happy if your child works for the post office and get those benefits. Okay, think about it. Think about it. But they're calling us niggers.
You're next, nigga! Get you!
You're next, nigger, and he come by a little short dude. Short, watch your mouth!
I don't want shit! Fuck you! It's a shit! Fuck you!
Wow.
Show me, bitch!
Wow.
You fucking serious? Fuck you!
Wow.
Fuck you!
Wow. That's cold.
What the fuck?
That's cold. Straight calling us niggers. Okay. And I have a montage, but I'm not going to do it today. Okay. And like I said, they call us niggers. So which is worse? being called a nigger or just, clipping a video. I don't know if that's the Lion King, but it looks like a Lion King video with just the faces, but the post, or just being called straight up nigger to your face. And I got one even worse. Okay. Yeah, I'm going back to that. Okay. Because the difference between racism, see, the female, she's not racist. That's just a prejudice or bigot or just, name calling. Okay. But when it comes from the federal government, when the wife of the sitting president goes on record and her husband orders the FBI to destroy black communities by bringing black men to heel because they called us super predators, that's racism. Okay. Racism is associated with due process, just like when it was time for us to go to the NFL, and they dropped they wanted to blackball us. Okay. Oh, you got to get a minimum score on the SAT. Like, wow. Okay. That was to stop us because I know cats was going to Oklahoma. I looked at their classes and they taking golf, table tennis, no concept of trying to get a degree, but they flipped that. So my generation, you have to take a aptitude test and get a minimum score of 700, but we wasn't prepped or anything. Okay. And then the draft went from 12 rounds, 15 rounds, and it got to 12. And then my year when I came out, I called my agent like, man, what's up? So day 2, you talking to anybody? He like, man, the draft is over. I said, what you mean? It's only 7 rounds this year. Wow. Blackballed. Okay. And this is why today I have that energy, because I'm still the same individual who, they violated back in the day, but black men can't be victims. We're not victims. We got to just assimilate, because when they start running down on us, hey, how you doing, officer? Is there a problem? Okay. You guys got any guns or drugs? No, sir. Okay, well, just call me Officer So-and-so. No, Officer So-and-so. You mind if we check the vehicle? Absolutely. So we'll get out, sit on the curb, and have a great day. Okay, because we understood if you resist, you're going to get some consequences. Okay, so from a racist perspective, what's racist? More racist. A monkey post, of a Lion King that's bowing down to the lion of the president of the United States, because Joe Biden was the one eating the monkey. Okay. And if you really want to understand, primates do not have lips. Okay. So Darwin was talking about the Neanderthal and in evolution, Homo erectus. Okay. We're Homo sapiens. Okay. The 9 series DNA in which all humanity comes from. So when they call us monkeys and all that, okay, if we're monkeys, then what are you? You're a genetic mutation of us. We created you. Can't nothing but black create black. Okay, but I got a blue, green-eyed, blonde-haired, little cousin, and both his parents was darker than me. It's called an albino. Okay. And then there's a disease called leprosy where you lose all the melanation, in your, and it's been over millions of years. So this is why they come out and act as if they're the chosen ones, knowing that they're not, but they control everything to make us get emotional and charged up. This is why, I offered you a write-in candidate in the name of Jesus Christ for the 2024 presidential election, because the scribes and the Pharisees are no difference. Okay. But the difference between a Pharisee, Jesus at least associated with the Pharisees, but he had nothing to do with the Babylonian liberals. And the Super Bowl halftime was a Babylonian show. And when I heard, that older lady, somebody's grandma say, look at them 2 men grinding. I'm like, oh, okay. And just for you individuals that are new, yes, I had a campaign. Write in Jesus Christ, our only hope. And I had pastors tripping, because I found out that the black church is a branch of the Democratic Party. Like literally. And hurt my heart, but hey, that's on y'all. So if y'all want to be stuck in the wilderness, but we're going to get to this mountaintop, but in the sense of, due process. This is the president of the United States. Watch what she said about me. Okay. And this is why it's personal. I'm not a Republican, nonpartisan independent, but I'm a Democrat. And because basically Democrats chose me And this is what she said. And when I say they brought the hammer down on the black community, destroyed us, and this is in the era of mass incarceration, because if you did not know, hit that notification, because we're going to be talking about slavery never ended, because the 13th Amendment is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude unless criminalized. She just criminalized us and basically filled these prisons. Check this out.
Take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
Wow.
We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere.
Okay. And like I said, we're not victims, but we have the evidence. They destroyed us. That's blackballing. They destroyed us. Those the crash units, the gang details. That's racism. Coming from the president's wife. That's racism. Okay. So if Trump is racist, then what are the Clintons? What are the Clintons? Think about that. They're worse. So when you say the lesser of the two evils are the Pharisees, because the Babylonian liberals have no God, and they'll be willing to steal, kill, and do anything to hurt. Okay. Case in point, we just saw a video of Hillary Clinton. Look what the Clintons do to their rivals. So destroying the black community was nothing. But check this out.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was the front runner for the New York Senate seat.
John F. Kennedy Jr. was the front runner for the New York Senate seat.
Back in 1999.
1999. That super predator statement was made in 96. So they got rid of us first. And then now they're running this full operation. Check this out.
Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold up, swole up. Wait a minute.
Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997.
Wow. Man. And this is the Clintons. Okay? These racist Clintons.
In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement.
Poison.
In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef.
This is 2015. So this is a career worth of
hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning.
Okay, remember Malcolm Jamal Warner, accidental drowning, and then Obama's chef died in 6 feet of water, and he was 6'1". So this thing is crazy.
But he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation.
Wow.
And Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned.
All right. Y'all got my point. Okay, this is the Clintons. And this is the perfect segue to kind of get to those, to the Epstein files. Because come to find out, the Epstein files are really about the Clintons. They're really about the Clintons. But Obama and Michelle is tied in because they are in the files as well. And John Legend's wife better watch it before they unalive her, because she is on record connecting the Obamas to all of this. And if you did not know, Epstein had a place in New Mexico. Okay. And then after he got convicted, this is when he created Epstein Island. So a lot of the Epstein Island, incidences have transpired after he was a convicted sex